Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Grain Gauntlet. As always, 5 questions from current clients and at least 1 question from a prospect. This is Patrick. I'm Josh. You ready to go?
Yep.
All right. First question. Is there anything that can stop the funds besides themselves when they jump on one side of a trade?
Well, as many of you know, that commercials are actually largely buyer and seller commodities, both in the cash market and in the futures markets and options markets. So the commercials can stop them anytime they want. If they're fearful or they need to get prices higher to get more sales done, they can stop the funds. Weather can stop the funds. President Trump can stop the funds. The funds just stop all the time. It's just that a lot of times they're the only major player in the market. Everybody sits back, waits for them to end it. But yes, anything can stop the funds. And when you say funds, remember, this is like 110 different fund managers. So they all act a little bit differently. Some jump earlier, some jump later.
Okay. All right. Has rally potential for corn been lessened with rain arriving in dry areas?
Yes. The risk of drought is greatly reduced. I'm talking drought like 2012. When you have moisture down south, that will stop the flow from the Gulf goes up to the upper Midwest and the plains. When we have a normal summer, we get moisture off the Gulf. When you have a dry spot between the upper Midwest and the lower area of the United States, that moisture is sucked up by that dry area. That area is soaked now, so there's nothing stopping moisture from the Gulf moving up to the upper Midwest. So that has greatly reduced the long-term 2012 type drought. Doesn't mean we're going to get 181 bushels or 52.5 bushels an acre. In fact, we could have a year where we have too much moisture in places and not enough moisture in others. And I think that's going to be the case. At least that's what our weather guys are saying. Very slow atmosphere moving across the U.S. That means longer periods of rain sitting over places. You guys in Southern Illinois have seen that. Missouri, Southern Indiana, you get soaked almost every day. Systems are very slow across the southern part.
Yes, definitely some heavy rainfall months, lots of flooding. Looks like the southeast and the Ohio River Valley, Tennessee River Valley are getting their latest round of flooding again. So, yep. All right. Do you have a target in mind for our initial new crop soybean sale?
I'm sure I can make up one, but if I tell you that going into a summer, I'm just making up stuff. Because really what dictates price movement right now for the next couple months is weather. And the weather guys don't know what the weather's going to be in a week. So how can I predict weather for the whole summer and what the high will be based off of weather? We have some areas that will start to sell where it takes out some risk. I like to see $11 before I even think about it. But if the weather stays good all the way through August 1st, we're going to have to sell lower. However, if we have a longer period of dry or wet risk and the market rallies more, we'll move it up. So farm marketing is about adaptation, not about having a prediction higher. We have been so ingrained in this field that you have to have a prediction. Well, trying to predict causes people to make big time mistakes. So if you need a prediction, $11 in beans and $4.80 to $5 in new crop corn.
I'm just saying with soybeans, definitely the highest variance there. With the lower acres and the tight wheat stocks, the upside there is quite a bit higher. So to lock yourself into any number would be leaving potentially a lot on the table there, especially with soybeans.
What if China says, hey, President Trump, we're going to be nice to you and we're going to show you goodwill and we're going to buy the 50 billion bushels of crop that we agreed to in 2018, and all of a sudden they start buying beans? The market's changed. You can't predict price move. You have to be able to be prepared and react to price moves.
Okay, absolutely. Are the funds getting short with corn due to disappointment or doubt on trade deals, and which countries' deals will be the most impactful?
The most impactful trade deals our biggest importers of corn: Mexico, South Korea, Japan. They buy a lot of the top three buyers of corn in the U.S. For soybeans is obviously China, because they are they're the gorilla out there. So no, I don't think trade has anything to do with price action that we've seen or fund selling. It's weather. We started the year with dry conditions in the plains, rapid planting, and now they got some rain to get the crop going. Weather trumps everything in the summer and spring.
Yeah, I think with the funds and all the price movement we've seen so far, it's just wait and see on trade deals. And you talked about what China getting back to purchasing what they agreed in 2018 is one of the key points of the deal that I've heard, and it sounds like that's something China is agreeable with. And then there's also countries like India. I just read this morning we might be actually selling ethanol to India, which would be a first.
Huge.
Yeah, that'd be pretty big. All right, final question from a prospect. With some old crop left to sell, is this a good time to get long with corn?
Yes. I sent down my ASV a urgent plea to get long at this low price. The risk down here is way lower than 30 cents higher. Okay, if we only get a 30-cent rally in the cash and futures market, if we can add 20 or 30 cents in the hedge with a buyback now and then sell 30 cents higher, you're effectively adding 50 cents to the sale, which makes it a decent sale. We start getting any of these deals, market's going to react. You're going to be up 50 cents in a heartbeat. We get a dry or true wet period, we're going to be up 50 cents in a heartbeat. It's going to be too late to react. The time to buy is right before the dawn, when it's the darkest. Right now is the time to buy. I can't say that strong enough. And please remember this, because I am telling everyone to be as aggressive as they possibly can on the buy side right now.
All right, sounds good. That's all for this week. Thank you, everyone. As always, if you got a question you want to submit, can call us. A lot of these questions come from the conversations we have. Otherwise, you can submit them via email to adminstaff@hedge-plus.com. And we hope everyone has a great week. Thank you.
Take care. Thank you.